Yeah, so I'm Sonia Scolfield and I am a hair and makeup artist based in York, and I do a lot of wedding makeup, but I also, the last couple of years, I've got more into doing fashion as well, photo shoots and York Fashion Week. I'm head of hair and makeup for them, so I'm really heavily involved in that now. But yeah, so I've always been really interested in hair and makeup. My mum was a hairdresser, so I think I've always sort of seen her doing hair, and yeah, just sort of really love playing with hair myself. And makeup, just I've always really been into skincare, and just really love how makeup can change and give you more confidence. So I was just always like playing with it as a child. And I was actually a dancer from a very young age, so I was always doing my makeup for competitions and shows. So like by the age of 8, I had quite a big toolbox full of makeup and all different colours. So it's just something that's always been in my life. But I actually trained to be a professional dancer. So I went to dance school and did that for a bit. And then I was an air stewardess for 10 years. And then at the age of 34, I never saw my daughter. So I decided that I needed to have a career where I was home every night and could look after her, and decided to go back into doing makeup as a career. So I just went to work in a department store on a counter for a couple of days a week, and then just realised that it wasn't just a sort of little part-time job to bring me money, but I absolutely loved it. And then I turned it into a career. So yeah, and it just keeps getting better. So I started off on a makeup and skincare counter, and then that was mainly a skincare counter, and I wanted to do more of the artistry and become a proper makeup artist. So I went to work for Bobbi Brown makeup counter, and that was where I got really good training, and they sent us down to London and Manchester and Scotland, and we just got such good training there. And I just felt that I just wanted to do more than work on a counter. So when we was on counter, we did makeup lessons for ladies and men as well. And I ended up doing lots of wedding makeup lessons. And then I kind of felt like I don't want to be just doing these like pretend wedding makeovers on counter. I want to actually be there for the wedding day and see how it goes. So I started doing wedding makeup on the side. So booking them in gradually. And then it got to the point where I got so busy freelance doing the weddings that I had to leave the counter job. So it was a bit worrying at first, because you've got the stability of having, this job on counter that you're always going to get paid, and then to choose to go freelance, it's a little bit of a risk, but it paid off. And as the years have gone on, I've just got busier and busier. So the way I got into it was I just really wanted to do photo shoots. I really wanted to work with models, and I wasn't really quite sure how to do that, because it felt like it's not really the sort of job that someone's just going to ring you up and say, hey, can you come and do this fashion shoot? And I just sort of never really knew a way to get into it. So I started working with a photographer that I knew, just doing some like collaboration shoots, and just picking, some friends that, I thought could model, and just started that way really, just getting some good photos from a portfolio and getting that practice of seeing what makeup looks like on camera. And then, it just sort of grew from there really, and just started working with different photographers. And the way I got into doing fashion was I was part of this networking group locally in York on Facebook. And then one day somebody said, are there any makeup artists free to do this film? And I was so excited, because I thought, wow, a film, I'd love to do that. So I put my name forward, and then it turns out it was a promotional film for York Fashion Week. And that was great for me, because that was my way in. And I just remember being so excited that day, being on a film set. And yeah, it was everything that I'd wanted to do. I wasn't quite sure how to do it. So yeah, that was the first thing I did. And then since then, I just ended up loving working with York Fashion Week, and I've just continued to do so. And yeah, doing all their, photo shoots and organising the hair and makeup teams for the fashion shows. And from that, it's been a really good platform for me to build my career, sort of working with different stylists and models and fashion designers. So yeah, that's where it all started really. In fashion, it's made my bridal looks probably more editorial. So rather than your kind of quite classic, possibly a little bit old-fashioned bridal, I can kind of put a bit more of a editorial sort of stance and style to it, I would say. So it's mainly Yorkshire because that's where I'm based. I have done Fashion Week in London. I've done a few weddings abroad, but yeah, I would say it's kind of mainly around this region. Sometimes I'll go like to Manchester or Newcastle and Leeds, but yeah, it is generally more up north. I would say my experience from working in York, I think it's because it's a smaller city. I guess that we all get to know each other really well. So when you do Fashion Week, in Yorkshire, you kind of know all of not all of the models because we get new models each year, but you will recognise models, you'll recognise stylists and photographers, and it feels like a real kind of more friendly, I think, closer, just because we all know each other. So yeah, it's quite nice for that. And we tend to do networking as well. So you really get introduced to people all the time and get really good contacts. I don't know. I did London Fashion Week, and then I feel like we just kind of, we just sort of know each other more in York. I suppose it feels a bit more like at home, I guess. Circumstances, obviously, sort of family life and where I live is why I'm in York. But I think that I think there are some good opportunities here. Like, I don't feel like I have to keep going down to London to work. I feel like I have got plenty of branding photo shoots up here and fashion work. So yeah, I think this is a really nice space for me. I think that for me, I think I've just developed my skills a lot more. When I first started, I could just do like bridal makeup. And since I started, I've learned how to do hair, and I've gone on an Afro hair course. And I think that there's just a lot more opportunities the more you can do, really. If you just sort of say I can just do makeup, then you just don't have as many choices where you can work. But definitely having the hair as well has really helped me. And I think you learn on the job as well. You end up doing things that you didn't think you could do, and then all of a sudden, like you realise I could do that, and then you go to the next job and you're like, oh well, that's a skill I definitely know I can do now. Yeah. So if I'm about to do a shoot, then you have some chats with the designer and the photographer and try and work out what the style's going to be, and looking at mood boards. There's lots of discussions. I think that when you do a shoot, you don't just sort of turn up on the day and do it. There is weeks of chatting about it so that everyone's got the same vision. And I think that's what I really like about working in fashion, is because you can all share your ideas and come up with something. I think when you do a wedding, obviously the bride tells you how they want to look, but when you're doing a shoot, it's you get your model and then you kind of get to be a bit more creative and do what you want to do. Yeah, I would say for me, once it actually gets to the shows, it's brilliant. Like, it's absolutely chaotic, and it's not from bad organisation, but it is. You've got so many people, you've got so many models, and you've got designers all telling you different things, and you've got big teams of hair and makeup artists, but that's really exciting. I think the most challenging part for me is organising the hair and makeup teams, because you've got a few different days that you're trying to do the shows for, and then it's finding the hair and makeup artists that are available, because we're all busy, we're all doing all different work, so it's kind of, you need about 7 or 8 people in your team. So it's that you sort of have to keep messaging everybody around, and then people will message you a couple of days before saying, I'm really, really sorry, but I've got this film job I've got to do. So then all of a sudden you're one person down, and then somebody else will be sick, and then you're all the time thinking, I've got 50, 60 models today and we don't have enough people. So it's a little bit stressful like that, because you're continuously just trying to reach out to people and hope they're going to be there. And it always works out in the end, and there's always people that really want to do it. So it does work out in the end, but I think a few weeks before it is that moment of, are we going to have enough people? Yeah, I think my favourite work is on photo shoots. I think that for me, I really like to see the end result, and you can do that because you get these really, beautiful photos back, and then you can, I don't know, just really sort of enjoy the work and think, I did that. But then when you do a fashion show, you'll be doing all the makeup backstage, and then you're still backstage because at the very last moment you're powdering a model or making sure she looks perfect or he looks perfect, and then you're backstage, so you miss that kind of when they come down the catwalk, so you sort of miss that moment. I think with photo shoots you always get to see the photos properly. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm really finicky about how everything looks. And then when I'm working with a photographer, I can sort of say, what does that look like on camera, and just check everything looks perfect. But with a fashion show, it's kind of like you do it and then we're off, and then I'll be sort of thinking, I want to move that strand of hair, and Ooh. I think that I'd really like to do some film and TV. I have done a little bit, but I think that's something that I'm going to have to do some more work on. I need to learn some more skills for that. So I can't do special effects makeup. So I think just trying to improve my skills all the time so that there are other jobs that I can do. I'd like to work more in fashion. I sort of work more locally. I'd like to maybe do some photo shoots abroad. Like I'd love to go and do a photo shoot in Marrakesh especially. So just, go to exciting places and go further and travel with my work. I'd like to do more destination weddings. So I think travel's one of my main things actually that I love. So if I can do a lot more travel with my work, that would be fantastic. Since I've been working on Fashion Week here, it started off very small. So we'd have very small shows of about, no more than 10 models, and that would be in a shop or in a smaller cafe. But now the fashion shows have got a lot bigger, so a lot bigger audiences, a lot more models, and it was more. So the fashion was just sort of from the high street shops and. Not many sort of independent designers, but this year certainly. We've had so many designers come on board and student designers and designers that are already established. So I think it's just, from my point of view, it's just got bigger each year. Yeah, I think with the more established designers, they have a really clear vision, what they want, and they will come to you with mood boards, and they'll tell you exactly what shade lipstick they want, and they're just a lot more heavily involved, whereas I find the student designers are more open for you to sort of guide them what you think would be a good idea, because I think they're so focused on their designs that their hair and makeup is not quite in their mind so much. So that is more, I would say, a bit more of a collaboration. You sort of suggest ideas to them, and then you just sort of come up with ideas together. That's what I've noticed. But you will get some students who do have a very, very clear vision. But the more established ones are very much, they sort of tell you what they want. So you get to do both. You get to kind of be told, which is nice actually, to get that direction, but it's also nice to come up with your own ideas as well, and then you can go to them with mood boards yourself, and then they can say, I love that, or slightly different, but you get the result in the end. It's really nice. When I did the show in April, you get to see the students that are helping backstage, and it's not actually their work, they're just helping another designer, and then you get to see them only sort of 6 months later actually having their own show. So that's really lovely to see. There was a couple of the young designers this year, and they went to lots of the events, and they was at the fashion show, and they went to one of the designers' opening evenings to find out. It was like an exhibition, and yeah, there was just, you could see that they was getting so much from it, and yeah, it would be really nice to see them, because I've been working here for a few years, so I sort of see them when they're just starting, and then when they actually come to do their own collection, it is really nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think the going forward, the circles are always widening. I've got a different photographer that I'm going to be working with a lot next year that I met through another photographer. So it's I think every time you meet somebody, they introduce you to somebody else. So then you just sort of, your work just goes further. So yeah, I'm going to be doing quite a lot of branding photo shoot with a different photographer next year. So that's quite exciting, getting all of those things booked in. Yeah, so we've got the next York Fashion Week coming up in April, so I would imagine we'll start with the networking for that soon. And yeah, I think the venues that we had this year were spectacular. We was at the Guildhall this year, and it was a really stunning venue, so I hope that we're going to be back there. And yeah, just some bigger venues, I guess, again. I'm excited to see what happens, because each time it just, I don't know, we just sort of, just get some really exciting designers. So I'll be interested to see who we've got this year.